Hey there guys, we're taking a look at Life is Strange True Colors running on the AMD Ryzen 5 5500U. Now the game is currently running at, well, the resolution is set to 1080p, but the in-game render scaling is set to 70%, which is the lowest that it lets me go down to. The graphics settings are all set to their lowest, except for the anti-aliasing, which for some reason is labeled as high, but that's like the lowest it'll let you go. So essentially everything is at the lowest that it'll let you actually set it to. The performance that we're getting here isn't amazing, but it's passable enough, especially for this style of game. It's not going to be a game that's going to require a lot of input out of you, and it's not going to require any fast movement or anything like that. So really having a around 40 FPS average is perfectly fine. The only issue is just those moments of stutter that happen here and there. Now, I also have the textures set to the highest setting because of the fact that if you don't, everything looks very hideous. And this is one of those games where you're kind of just here for the story, and the visual quality is a part of that story. It really loses a lot of its narrative emphasis when you are looking at someone that looks like absolute potato quality. So this is pretty much about as good as you're going to be able to let it be before you actually have to drop the resolution from 1080p down to like 720p, and at that point you're really going to be dealing with a lot of blur. Now the moments of stutter really only happen when scenes are transitioning in between. It's not really something that's going to be happening in the middle of scenes a lot of the time, so it's not going to be too distracting. It is going to be a little bit annoying, especially if you're very sensitive to that, but I think I could stomach through it just to be able to actually play the game. Because again, a lot of the time you're mostly just going to be making decisions, or when you actually have to be walking around, really there's no urgency to it. There's no you needing to actually be able to quickly respond to anything. You can just slowly move around and just click on whatever objects you have to interact with. It's not going to require anything major out of you, at least from what I've played so far. And I'm only showing you the beginning aspects of the game because since it's so narratively driven, anything past this is essentially just going to be a spoiler. Overall, really, I just have to say that the game is pretty much playable enough on here that I think you could get away with doing it. I can understand if this puts you off, you know, the constant little stutter that happens here and there within transitions, but if this is a game that you really want to play, you can definitely enjoy it on here and really get a actually passable experience instead of just looking at something that is completely potato quality. Because while the character models are lacking a little bit of detail, it's nothing detrimental, and really having the textures just set to the highest setting balances out the fact that all of the other graphic settings are set to their absolute lowest. And really, for this just being an absolutely brand new title right now, it's good to see that it can actually run on a chip that is this budget friendly. Certainly not everything is going to look perfectly fine. I mean, the brother's hair in a lot of the scenes looks kind of weird, but really this is as good as it's going to get for you to actually be able to get a pretty decent gaming performance experience. But anyways, I hope you found this video useful. If you did, be sure to subscribe, and I will see you guys in the next one.